DeSantis, baby! Woohoo! Yeah, I'm triggering everybody. I'm triggering you. I'm triggered. Get triggered. Get triggered. Santa's baby, yeah. Oh, I can cry so bad. Okay, hold on, let me put my background music for Alexi say something. A treat, can you put on some background music? Can you put some background? A treat, hello, treat, can you put on some? Okay, don't let the hat fool you guys, okay? I need a black hat. I can't find my other black hat. I got lots of black hats, and I can't find them because what I do is I take them off and I throw them around this house someplace, and I can't find them. But I can find this one. So I was like, well, let me put this on. But let me just let you guys know. Do not let this hat fool you, baby. I am a DeSantis girl, okay? Now listen, Trump supporters, yo, we both can disagree. We both can come to an understanding. That, you know, you got your guy, we got our guy. But let me just tell you something. Please don't ever think that your guy is better than our guy. Please don't sit up here and talk about some Ron DeSantis is Zionist. I'm sorry, Pot, but all the presidents that are Republican are Zionists. I mean, do you forgot about Trump? Please don't tell me that Trump criticized DeSantis about the 6-week abortion. I'm sorry. Did Trump forget that he's a Republican? Because most of the red states have a 6-week cutoff, especially those in Georgia, for abortions. Why would you go after DeSantis? Where's your DeSantis 2024? I don't have no. First of all, I didn't even know they was selling any DeSantis 2024 attire. Today is his first time announcing it. There is, from my understanding, there is no DeSantis 2024 attire yet. Because he didn't announce it. And I was actually like saying to myself, like, is he really going to announce it? So there is no such thing as there's some today. Starting today, there's some. But prior to today, there was no DeSantis 2024 attire. Trust me. DeSantis just changed his Twitter name. At first, it was DeSantis FL. He got with Elon Musk and had the FL taken off, and now it's DeSantis. Dr. Common Sense is not going to be happy about this. A lot of people. Wait a minute. Doc's still my brother. It doesn't matter. Doc's still my brother. There's a lot of listen, let me just say this. We can coexist, DeSantis supporters and Trump supporters. We can coexist. Okay? But let me tell you something. Those of us who support DeSantis, we are in a situation that I was in when Trump was running in 2016. Nobody's perfect. What you mean it's probably going to be launched tomorrow? What you mean nobody's perfect? Ain't nobody going to lose money just in case DeSantis did not say he was going to launch. You have to have a supply and demand. Unique, Laura. There was no demand for DeSantis 2024 merchandise because none of us didn't. I know I didn't think he was. I was like, he waited to the last minute to announce he was going to run. I knew Trump kept getting triggered, but Trump get triggered about a lot of shit. There was no demand. That's how capitalism work. You have a demand, you give a supply. There was no demand for DeSantis 2024 because he just announced it today. Holy shit. I meant nobody's perfect for the people you like, but there's mega. Oh, okay. I say what y'all. What I tell y'all about typing half stuff in my chat, and I read it, and then I'm like, then y'all like, wait, but that's not what I meant. Type all of your words. Do you think Ron DeSantis will be the Republic front runner? Ann Coulter. And I'm back buddies with her now. Cause I was like, fuck Ann Coulter. But I'm back buddies with Ann Coulter because she came on my side of abortion. Let me remind y'all. It was Tree of Logic. It was me, who said, leave abortion alone. Why do you want your enemies to multiply? You dumb conservatives. You fucking inbreds. Why would you want your enemies to multiply? Tree! Abortion is murder! Okay, you parchment paper monkey. You want Boom Shika to have a bastard child or bastard children that she can't take care of. You want your taxes to go up so we can fucking goddamn give her the welfare to take care of them bastard kids? Oh no, we don't want that. Just shut your monkey ass up. She'll have these fucking children. You downtown in a very nice area with your beautiful children and wife. And them same fucking bastard kids that you pretend to give a fuck about come out of the car and they hold your ass down and they steal from your corpse. You still supporting abortion now? Motherfuckers. That's what I'm saying. A lot of you white people ain't going to Valhalla. You ain't going to Valhalla. You ain't even thinking like your ancestors. Never would your ancestors be promoting the advancement of their enemies. The Vikings would slay all the male children and take the rest of the female and the women as slaves or whatever. Because they know those little male children will grow up to avenge their slain fathers. They did that when they were children. Also, can I remind you about Sparta? Did you forget about the scene on the fucking cliff where the elder was examining the baby? Here's the deal. I do not have a problem with my enemies taking themselves out, including their own offsprings. Actually, and I keep saying this, the Pew Review stated that over 88% of women who get abortions are registered Democrats. Why can't women keep their damn legs? Why can't you keep your dick in your goddamn pants? Here's the deal. Just like I said with Unique Laura earlier, supply and demand. Okay? You motherfuckers can't keep your dick to yourself. You're so animalistic to your sexual desires that women can exploit you. I don't hate the game, and I definitely don't hate the player. If you don't have dick discipline, you are to be blamed. Okay? Don't blame women because they can easily manipulate your bitch ass and take you for all it's worth because you think with your fucking dick. So it ain't about the Why can't women keep their legs closed? Why can't you keep your dick to yourself? You have a fucking hand. They got goddamn toys to satisfy you motherfuckers. But nah, when you see these women and they goddamn do the thirst trap, they tell you stupid asses what you want to hear. They fucking goddamn regurgitate the stupid talking points that you like to hear. Women ain't shit. We should take away voting rights. I'll be in the kitchen. I'll cook. I'll clean. I'll slay. And you don't even see the shit coming. Next thing you know, you married the fucking bitch and she got them destroying your life because you what? You didn't have dick discipline. Let me tell you something. Yo, I'm not going to shame no woman for taking advantage of you. You should know fucking better. You should know it. Last year, my oldest godson got his heart broken. I was right there to teach him a lot, teach him how, hey, you see how you feel? Let's talk about the nature of women. See, I teach that. I teach your daddy ain't teach you shit like that. No, it ain't, because he's too busy looking at Playboy magazine. See, I'm all about teaching young men, no. Don't you let pussy rule you. You rule pussy. And if you were saved, sanctified, and highly favored like a lot of you Christians pretend to be, pussy should never be on your fucking mind in the first place. You're supposed to be thinking about getting married and then fucking. But nah, y'all want to fuck first and then... With this ring, I do it to life and death, and to sickness and health, to death. I married her. You thinking all, you. Let me stop. Here's the deal. You men listening to these stupid red pill people, you listening to the fucking MGTOW, manosphere motherfuckers, they just hate women because they got fucking owned by women. These are organizations and groups where unattainable, unattractive, socially awkward, and men who have been fucked over by women they're in their support group. 304, pump it up. No Jaime, no dimey. Okay? DeSantis is a neocon. I wouldn't trust him or Trump. I don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck what you think. If you don't trust neither one of them, what the fuck you doing here? We don't need no liberals in here. I mean, this is a place for either Trump supporters or DeSantis supporters. So we don't really give a fuck what you think. And your name is Stone Mexican? Are you here legally? This motherfucker, hey, where's your papers? Your name is Stone Mexican guy. Are you here legally? No wonder your monkey ass is not for fucking goddamn DeSantis or Trump. You probably for the fucking president of Mexico. Excuse me, this is a chat room for Americans. Legal Americans. Go back to your shithole country. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. Da na 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 na. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. What the fuck you doing in my goddamn chat? I'm gonna call ICE on your bitch ass. Fucking Mexican, fucking goddamn beaner talking about, yo, senor, I'm not for DeSantis or for Trump. I'm not for either one of them. I just want to come and take your jobs. Make lots of babies. Haha, they could be American citizens and I get to stay here illegally. I get to stay here illegally. The fuck you doing here? No, today is not taco day. No, today is not taco day, okay? How dare you? How dare your ass come up in here in American discussion? Holy shit. Now, as I was saying, excuse me, once again, I need to remind everybody, this is for Americans only. Those who were born in the USA, born in the US. If you were not born here, shut the fuck up. You have no say in this discussion. You're either here legally by you being, and you can't be no goddamn anchor baby either. Your mama and your mama's parents and your daddy's parents and their grandparents and their great-great-grandparents should be nationalized here in America. Boom, headshot. If that's not the case, shut the fuck up. All right, so as I was saying, you guys need to, you really need to get your shit together. The red pill is dying. That shit's gonna be dead real soon. Andrew Tate is going to jail. This is his last month on house arrest. When this is over, they're going to charge him, and he's gonna go to Romanian jail. And you know that nigga Andrew Tate know he's going to jail. I went to his Twitter. That motherfucker is in bed with a dog. Press 1 if you saw that tweet. He is literally in bed with a canine. Talking about what did he say? There are 100 whores or 100 people, 100 women who wish they were my dog. So this motherfucker's promoting bestiality. He promoting bestiality before he go to jail, because he know he gonna be somebody's bitch. I said, that man done lost it. He has absolutely lost it. And I'm here to see it. I never liked him. And Candace Owens defended him, so you know I like him. And you know I really don't like him. I hate him even more. So there's that. So the red pill manosphere. And now what you're going to have, and this is so unfortunate, you have awakened women to across the board. I haven't seen this. Wait a minute. Has this ever happened before? You have feminists, liberal women, progressives, centrists, ANCAP women, conservative women, and right-wing women, and even dissident right-wing, extreme right-wing women. All women are coming together to fucking bring you motherfuckers down. Because how many years have you been talking about women ain't shit but hoes and tricks? Fuck her, this, that. Pump a dumper. That's why she for the streets. Yeah, fuck that. If she got, what's your body count? What's your body? All this bullshit. And now, like women, I told you, men are physically superior than us, on average. That is not even debatable. But when it comes to some sneaking, conniving, fucking manipulative shit, you can't fuck with no goddamn woman. Boom, headshot. We'll get your ass when you least expect it. And when you're at your weakest, we will unite together to fuck your ass up. Now, look what you fucking did. Look at what they did. It's beautiful. Women are unifying to come after these. They're coming after these men. So much so that even Tristan Tate had to distance himself for the red pill people. Tristan Tate, hey, don't call me no red pill. Don't call me none of this. Goddamn. And I've been coming after goddamn pearly things. Because I have finished with, I'm not finished with Isabella, but let me just say. You know what I'm saying? I just put that shit on pause right now, so I'm just going to observe her. But now I'm on pearly things. because the bitch blocked me. She blocked me. She ain't even blocked Brittany. She ain't even blocked Rachel. She blocked me. Now, when she blocked me, I said, uh-oh. She must know who I am. Because Lily had tagged me in a tweet of just pearly things. And I don't remember I'm going to paraphrase what I said. I said something to the fact that I said, I don't know why Pearly Things is talking like all she does is specialize in mud sharking for Tyrone. I think I said something to mud sharking for Tyrone, but I don't know what I said before then. And I haven't checked on her shit since then until somebody else tagged me. And I was like, oh, she got me blocked. And I went right to her thing and she blocked me. So I'm like, oh, you don't block all the other women, but you block me? Okay, it's on. It's on like popcorn. I just checked Pearl's Twitter account. She just tweeted about going on a blocking spree for the entire week. For real, can you give me that link? Yeah, but still, she didn't block every. Listen, Brittany Venti is going after her fucking neck. She ain't block her. All I did was say she was a goddamn mud shark. She was active mud sharking for Tyrone and block, which I'm okay because I can get your ass behind a block. I don't care. I don't care if she blocked me. It ain't gonna stop me. I've been coming out. I came after her yesterday. Did a video on her also to this morning. No, I released it this morning. And I also check out this tweet, y'all. She started with Tree. It sounds like she did. Hold on. Let me show y'all. We're gonna get to DeSantis in a minute. Hold on a second. So look. So this is what I tweeted yesterday at her. Hold on a second. Here we go. So this is what I tweeted yesterday. But I was already behind a block. That's why I did this. I knew I was behind a block. So even Lauren Southern is going, like, she's not going. Lauren Southern is not the type of fighting person, but she just makes vague statements about the red pill and all this other shit. So this is this is Pearl. Why would you marry someone who doesn't know what to do with submission? As if she knows how to submit. She didn't even submit to the gorilla. They basically took off the goddamn street from being homeless. Women complain about the hand they themselves picked. Then I go, never take dating advice from a woman like Pearly Things who just got dumped by a man who looked like Harambe. Boom, headshot. They liked it. So that was yesterday. So then this is what I did today. I said, can someone deliver this message to Pearly Things because she has me blocked? Tell Pearly Things that my cousin DeAndre is willing to unclog her plumbing so that she can calm the fuck down. However, she needs to send me a DM first to arrange payment. Boom, headshot! Now, do y'all know who this is? Don't DM me. I don't check my DMs. Put the link in the, I don't check my DMs. My DMs are fucked up. Don't check my DMs. Just give me the link. Put the link in the chat. Put the link in the chat. My DMs are so clogged up. There you go. That's right. This is Destiny. This is the Black Destiny. There you go. Who are you people? Who are you people knew that? Who are you people? Girl, who are you people? You be getting around. Do you know nobody? A lot of people don't know that this is Destiny. This is a Photoshop of a Black Destiny. I have some dumbass in the chat, in my replies. Where is he? Where is it? This motherfucker said, "Ew, you're pimping out your like this monkey really not this not Destiny. I'm just saying this. There's a monkey in here thinking I really am. Where is he at? Where is he at? Hold on. Here we go. Did you just admit to pimping your cousin out like a black femme Epstein? Gross." Like really? You really think that this is my cousin? And once again, this is a male. You see how is it? You see how easy it is for women to fleece on men? You stupid. You're just stupid. You're just stupid. That's stupid, nigga. You're just dumb. Like, really? Does this look like my cousin? Like, they really thought it's a black, somebody took and photoshopped Destiny as a black man. Holy shit, dude. So yes, that's Destiny. That ain't my cousin. Oh, she did going. Look at her. Oh my God. I will block everyone this week. Not everyone deserves my fire tweets. Girl, ain't no block gonna stop me. Ain't no block gonna stop me. Okay? Not at all. Let's see if she getting some pushback. We are laughing. Lol. Keep going. This girl is on fire. You never going to find a good man with that. You're never going to find a good man with that attitude. Pearl is my future second wife. Do it. Do it. Look at everybody clowning her. Starting when? Epic. That must. I don't know. I can't tell if this person is a fan or are they just trolling. What the fuck? Spare me. I have and will always support you. Ooh, simp. Oh, really? Get all of them. That's simp. I love you so much. If you love her, why don't you marry her? Holy shit. Can't believe your marvelous tweets are free. Sorry. I wonder, can she pick up sarcasm? I don't know if she because this is absolutely sarcasm and shit like that. This is great. No, baby, please, no, don't block me. Oh, sassy. I didn't do it. Damn, this is great. Yeah, y'all. I'm sorry. I have abandoned my DMs. My DMs are fucking garbage. They're like so filled with so many people, and I'm like, I just stopped checking on them. Unless it's somebody that I reached out to, like Josiah. I DM Josiah, so I expect Josiah to DM me. And same thing with Lily. But other than that, them daggone, I have a long list of people who are on unread because I don't open. It's like I don't even want to talk about it no more. Them daggone Pearl. She's so fake. She's scared. She's scared, dude. Cause here's the deal, and I found out she got a black guy. She got a black guy fired. But, I guess it is what it is. But like I said, people didn't. I just want to let you guys know that's destiny. Well, let me get back to this. This is destiny. This is Photoshop black destiny. This is not my cousin. It's an inside joke, but even if it's not an inside joke, it was still funny because a lot of people literally thought this was my cousin. This people really thought she dated Harambe before it's King Kong next. Nah, I don't know. I don't know, Jamal. I think she gonna go straight Lizzie. That's what I think. That's what I think. So yeah, dude. What a joke, dude. So I'm not going to comment on here. There's that. All right, so let's go ahead and go to Ron DeSantis. Okay. I probably, you know what I'm gonna probably do? I probably will do a stream right after this one on Just 3411 because a lot of people like, please do some more reaction channel on Pearly Things. So yeah, somebody else said that. Somebody else said that Black Destiny looks like Jamie Foxx. I actually agree. I didn't even pay attention to that. I actually didn't pay attention to that. I was like, somebody was like, dang, Tree, he looks like the Jamie Foxx. And so, yeah. Let's hope Jamie Foxx does not pass away. Oh my God. How about I found out earlier this morning that Tina Turner passed away. And I said to myself, I didn't even go and look at why. I was just so, for like several hours, I was sad. I was like, no, not Tina Turner, not the Queen. It was such a shock. I didn't even want to find out what she passed away from, because I'm like, wait a minute, she's in her 80s, right? So, oh God, that hit me hard because Tina had not just married. I think was that about 5 years ago? Her boyfriend of many decades, who's been there through thick and thin, she finally married him, and I think she had a stroke. But 83, she had a stroke, and a part of me was like, I hope this is not related to the jab, and I hope this is not related to her pre-existing conditions. So to this day, I mean, it's not like, I mean, does anybody know why she passed away? God, dude. Not Tina, but yeah, I found out about it. And so I was sad. I was really sad. And I just thought about no, I rebuke this thing about old age, and I feel sorry for you all to think that it's acceptable to die in your 80s. I really feel sorry for you people. You think like, oh yeah, she lived like, seriously, you guys, I can tell right now that people can manipulate you to when you are ready to. The powers that be can tell you when they want you to go. That's what I want y'all to understand. You know what I'm saying? When you think that you get into your 80s and that's when you're like, you stop living life and you just sit there in your rocking chair and you just wait for the Grim Reaper to come by. No, come on, dude. Like, seriously? I believe with all my heart and soul, Betty White would have made her 100th birthday, which she was looking forward to, had she not partaken certain types of pharmaceutical injections that I am not allowed to talk about at this time. Because if you listen to Betty White, mind you, Betty White, she had her senses to her. She didn't need no Depends. Betty White didn't need no cane, no walker. She can walk on her own. She was happy, free. And there were several interviews where she said she can't wait for her 100th birthday. She said she couldn't wait. She looking forward to it. And all of a sudden, Betty White has a stroke. No, they said Betty White died 6 days later after having a stroke. And everybody was like, what stroke? Wait a minute. What are you talking about? What stroke? People couldn't even get over the death because they didn't even know anything about the stroke. Okay. So my grandparents are in their 90s and still live alone and are there and mobile. I mean, you guys got to stop thinking like, oh, when you get in your 80s. Some of y'all think when you get in your 60s, you done good. Like you're selling yourself short. You're selling your life short too. You really are. So I don't subscribe to this die of old age. That's bull. Old age is not a disease. There is no disease called old age. So I'm trying to figure out, like, we know why Betty White is not here. It ain't because of old age. They said complications from a stroke. And we know why Donna Summers is not here. She died younger than all of them. She died when she was in her 60s. And they said she died of lung cancer due to being in the area after 9/11. I don't know if I believe that either. So, yeah, I mean, what y'all talking about? Y'all need to stop that. Stop saying they died of old age. Old age is no disease. Just like there's no disease called natural causes. What the hell is a natural causes? You slaves to the white coats. Won't catch me like that. This has the cause of death. Okay, hold on a second. Let me look at this. Okay, after this, we're gonna look at Ron DeSantis. Hold on a second. The world without. I just. Holy smokes! I just can't. Anyway. Legendary singer Tina Turner passed away at 83. Here's what we know about the Queen of Rock and Roll's cause of death. Okay. According to a statement obtained by The Telegraph from the singer's publicist, Tina Turner died after a long illness. Her health had been on a decline since an intestinal cancer diagnosis in 2016, which was followed by she had a kidney transplant? Wait a minute, she sure did. Her husband, wait, it's coming to me now. Didn't her husband give a kidney? There was a private funeral ceremony attended by close friends and family. Said Tina passed away in Switzerland, where she had been living since 1994 with her husband, music executive Erwin Bach, via The Independent. The couple was married in 2013. That man was trying to marry her for so long. So cute. It was actually Erwin who donated the... I knew it! There you go. I knew it. It was actually Erwin who donated a kidney that saved her in 2017. It's coming to me now. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, it was the husband gave the kidney. The two met in 1985 at the airport in Dusseldorf, Germany, where Ern was tasked with meeting her. Tina has said that they had an instant connection. Yeah, he loved her. That German Germans love some chocolate. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. That man, that man loved her. Ike Turner. And I'm gonna tell you something. When Ike Turner died, she took the high road. Couldn't been me. It couldn't have been me taking no high road. Leah, thank you so much for the $5. I don't blame Tina for hesitating on marriage after what she went through with Ike. Yeah, I do. Let me tell you why I do. Cause Ike was a nigga.
Boom! Headshot!
Ike was a bitch ass nigga.
Boom! Headshot!
Okay. Erwin is a nice German who's white. When you go from shit to sugar, you know you got some good sugar, okay?
Ooh-wee, I got a super chat.
I mean, trust me. It's just that, in my opinion, I can't prove this. In my opinion, Tina was just damaged goods and didn't trust men of any kind. You see what I'm saying? Erwin had a good background. Erwin, unlike Ike, had a good mother and father. I mean, Erwin is everything a good man is supposed to be. Okay? So, there's that. Well, why wouldn't he get all the money, Robert? What a stupid thing to say. He gets all the money. So, you jealous? You jealous that she ain't marry your bitch ass and you don't get all the money? Stop hating. Okay? He took care of her. He gave her a kidney. He was there through thick and thin, unlike your goddamn ass will ever be. You'll never be loyal. No one will ever be loyal to you like this man was to Tina. So keep hating. That man was there for her, unlike your daddy, okay, with your goddamn ratchet ass mama. Should have left that bitch on the pole where you found her. But the thing about it is that he was patient. He loved her. He looked out for her. He looked out for her career. He had her best interest, and he never left her side. Do you know how many times Erwin asked her to marry him, and she was like, no? I mean, this is not like, she was the one that was pushing for marriage. He was like, yo, let's get married. He asked her well over 20 times. Then he stopped, and then she said, okay, let's get married. They had a very, very beautiful wedding. She didn't wear no white dress. But after all the things that Ike did to her, I don't know. She did seek religion, like the Buddhist religion, but she should have received psychological therapy. Okay? That's what she should have done. She should have gotten psychological therapy first, and then, incorporate that with her nonyo reggae shoho nonyo reggae shoho nonyo yoke shoho nonyo yoko soro. She could have done all that, and then there's that. So I hear what you're saying, Leah. It's that when you've been the way she was abused by Ike, she just did what a lot of these red pill men do and paint everybody that way. And that's the wrong way to paint it. She elevated herself. And I'm going to say there's one thing, and then we're going to go to Ron DeSantis. Yeah. Here's the thing, ladies. When you go through something traumatic, well, to you two men, but particularly women, because we're more emotional. When you go through something traumatic and you get out of that traumatic situation and you start being a better person, which Tina did, you elevate your vibrations and you start to attract people on a higher level because you are in their radar. See, when she was insecure, when she didn't know her self-worth, she was psychologically beat down by her ain't shit mama because she never had a dad in her life. Oh yeah, she was primed for the picking for some fucked up guy named Ike. But as she became a woman, and after all those horrific things that Ike did to her, she came out a stronger person, was able to fight for herself, and then she embraced Buddhism and began to vibrate on a higher level through vibrating, through changing her diet, through basically leaving out of the victim mindset and going into a more warrior type of mindset. And then once she got the strength to leave that entire situation, she said that nigga can have the fucking money, he can have the band, he can have the royalties. I just want my name. Judge said, that's all you want? You know I can give it to you. Like, nah, fuck that nigga. That nigga ain't gonna last long. He ain't shit without me. Okay? I just want my name. Gave her the name, and she began to do her own thing. She began to empower herself. And what happened? She was in Erwin's radar, and that is what happened. But unfortunately, she still, it's like when you get bit by a pit bull, you kind of don't trust other pit bulls until you heal over the first bite. And then you realize all pit bulls are not monsters. And they're not, by the way. And so that's what happened. So, but still, yeah. It's one of those things you just got to be aware that you are bringing baggage from your past relationship into this relationship. So that's that. All right, let's get into DeSantis. So as I said, don't let the hat fool you. I am Team DeSantis. Oh, this is what I was about to say. Somebody in my chat asked me, I forgot. It was like, do you think, what was the question? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. What was that? It was in my chat, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Aaron. No, that wasn't. Who was asking that question? Shoot, I think it was Michael. I'm not sure. Someone asked me, I forget the question now. But anyway, so I just want you guys to know I am officially on Team DeSantis for so many reasons. There is a split where you have a lot of Trump's diehard fans, and good luck to you guys. But don't think about treating us like the way that people used to treat you and us when Trump was running in 2016. Okay? Because understand this, when it comes to glass houses, baby, you don't get no bigger than Trump. So we'll see the best man win. Ann Coulter, that's what I was saying about Ann Coulter. Mel T, welcome to the Tree Club in the chat. Thank you for being a member, Mel T. Ann Coulter and I are back. We buddies, because she is on my side about abortions now. Because she said she changed her mind about abortion. She said that we should let Democrats have the abortions. I'm like, that's what I've been saying all along. I mean, they're the ones getting the abortions. Why the fuck would you want to stop that? But Ann Coulter made a prediction at the table with Joy Reid and Bill Bill Maher. She was at the table with Bill Maher and Joy Reid. And they went around, they said, who do you think's going to win 2016 election? What did Ann Coulter say? Should we go get that video? Let's go get the video. Let's see if we can get the video. Let's see if we can find that video. That was a wonderful moment, wasn't it? Wasn't it glorious? Let's see. Ann Coulter predicts Trump win 2016. Was this it? HBO? Yeah, this is it. Man, 9 minutes. Can we just have the quick thing? Okay. Okay, here we go. This is it.
Okay, here we are. And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones, right now, Donald Trump. I especially like
What about of all of them? I mean, Scott
fake
Walker.
laughter from the audience.
Okay. Now, I was amazed that she said that with such confidence. Now, don't get me wrong. I was Team Trump. I was like, yeah, baby. Okay. It was like only a few of us like, yeah, we had our red mega hat. We were like, Trump, we were 2016, Trump, right? But I'm going to let you know, I told you guys, based upon those polls, I'll never forget that moment. Based upon the polls that for some crazy reason y'all want to pay attention to now, it was saying that Hillary Clinton had a 95% chance of winning, hands down, the presidential election. And guess who won? Donald Trump. Do you want to know who Ann Coulter said was going to win 2024? Somebody asked Ann Coulter the same question. Who you think going to win 2024 presidential election? I'm seeing some correct answers on what she said, though. Okay. Yeah. Okay. She said DeSantis. Ann Coulter said DeSantis is going to be the nominee and he's going to win 2024. Now, when I think about this, I go, Ann Coulter has not been wrong. However, I can see how this can go down that road for DeSantis. Hear me out. For some crazy reason, Trump refused to come back to Twitter, which is a dumb mistake. I don't even know what he's doing on Instagram. I don't even know if he came back, because I know when he came back to Facebook and Instagram, the first thing he did was promote them daggone stupid NFTs. I don't even know if he's been doing anything since then. He still want to stay on Truth Social, which is the dumb move. So the fact that he refused to come back on Twitter, that's going to be used against him. Second thing, okay, that's against him is that the centrists want DeSantis. I'm just sorry. They just want DeSantis. The centrists want DeSantis. So those of you who support Trump, just tell me, how can he energize his base from Truth Social? You mean to tell me y'all gonna screenshot every last truth he trutheth it? You know that it doesn't have the same engagement as an actual tweet, right? You know, him tweeting from his own Twitter account has 20, 30 more, 50 much more powerful. It's 50 times more powerful than him sending a truth from his truther in Truth Social. And then having somebody screenshot that and then bring that to Twitter. So you're going to give DeSantis, which I'm okay with that. You're going to give DeSantis the edge by doing what he did today, which was get with Elon Musk, who always been team DeSantis. Him and that weed smoking, bald head, idiot Joe Rogan. So a lot of these centrists who are loving some DeSantis. And there's 2 states that automatically are going to go to DeSantis, Georgia and Florida. Now, y'all like, what? That's just 2. What? It starts somewhere, but those are 2 hardcore states automatically going to go towards DeSantis. So, we'll see if Ann Coulter is going to be right. Maybe she is, maybe she won't. We shall see. Let's go ahead and look at DeSantis' Twitter here. I'm running for president to lead our great American. And I heard Trump is losing his shit on Truth Social.
Our border is a disaster. Crime infests our cities. The federal government makes it harder for families to make ends meet, and the president flounders. But decline is a choice. Success is attainable, and freedom is worth fighting for. Righting the ship requires restoring sanity to our society, normalcy to our communities, and integrity to our institutions. Truth must be our foundation, and common sense can no longer be an uncommon virtue. In Florida, we proved that it can be done. We chose facts over fear, education over indoctrination, law and order over rioting and disorder. We held the line when freedom hung in the balance. We showed that we can and must revitalize America. We need the courage to lead and the strength to win. I'm Ron DeSantis, and I'm running for president to lead our great American comeback.
Ooh, that's a little powerful. Oh my goodness. Listen, here's something else in reference to DeSantis I want to share with you guys. What date was that? Let me see. What date was that? That was last week on the 19th. That was last Friday, right? Early in the morning. DeSantis talked about how the law enforcement, he got more budget for law enforcement, this and the other. And all I posted underneath, it wasn't even DeSantis who tweeted this. It was like a news article. And all I said was, woohoo, Florida showing it how it's done. I got so many triggered ass fucking libtards screeching in my replies. Not just that day, but the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. And I said, holy shit! I have never been attacked like this since I was supporting Trump back in 2016 and 17. Then I got kicked off in 18. No, no, no. I got off the Trump train, and actually, a month after getting off the Trump train, I got permabanned. And I said, "Holy shit, dude! Y'all trigger like this for me, with me over DeSantis." I didn't even say anything about DeSantis. All I said is, "Woohoo! Florida showing it how it's done." That's all I said. That's all I said. Ha! DeSantis did the like, nigga. What? I didn't even mention DeSantis. But I'm getting the same treatment that I did when I supported Trump. Now you probably say, "Well, Tree, you ain't. How can you measure that? Because you didn't say anything positive about Trump." Yes, I did. That bogus rape charge. I went to Daily Loud. Is that what the name is? I went to Daily Loud, and I said, "I agree with Trump. That woman is not his taste." Now you would think the Believe Women crowd would have came after me with pitchforks and torches. I got one T person with that ugly ass pink, baby blue, pink, and white stripe flag, so I knew what I was dealing with. But I only got like a few people, and then it stopped the next day. But I showed my support for Trump in reference to this case. It was a banana republic. It was just a farce, and he's going to win on his appeals. You know what I'm saying? I don't subscribe. I agree. Trump has very good taste in women, and that bitch is trash. He would never sully his ding-a-ling, with the, I mean, now granted, yeah, he did do a oops with Stormy Daniels, but being fair, looking at Stormy Daniels' older pictures, that's his type. I mean, she looked goddamn used up and ran through today, obviously. But back then, when she was rolling with Trump at her younger years, I can see why he was kind of fascinated with her, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, dude, like, they didn't get outraged over Trump the way they, and I mentioned Trump, and I mentioned my support with Trump against that rape charge, that false rape charge. But I didn't even mention DeSantis. All I said was Florida. And to this day, this morning, the motherfuckers are still triggered about that one tweet. Okay. So there's that. Oh, okay. Oh, you got to go. Hold on a second. Raymond bitch ass said that Melania looks all right, so I put your fucking ass in time out. You sully my queen again, and I will permaban your bitch ass. This is a warning. I'm not playing with you either. You must forgot how strong I feel about Queen Melania. Say something like that again, and you're fucking out of here. Try me. Revenier's son Dorman, you see him say something else derogatory or even mediocre about our queen, permaban that motherfucker. Okay, we don't play that here. All right, here we go. All right, so let's go and, okay, let's see. You guys said it was, wait a minute. I thought you guys said at the, wait a minute. I thought you guys said at the, that the replay was on DeSantis, where's the replay to the Twitter space? That Shizzle and I don't know who else that was. I don't see it. We want to listen to it. Thank you. Who are you people? Okay. They gave me the wrong link. I swear. All right, here we go. So let's listen to this.
All right, I think we're broadcasting. Man, I think we melted the internet there.
Yeah, that was insane. Sorry, we actually doing this from David Sax's Twitter account.
Whoa! $1.4 million tuned in? Come on, Trump supporters. Really? Are you serious? You mean to tell me Trump think he can do this without coming on Twitter? Even if he doesn't like Elon, which I don't know, he keeps flopping about Elon. First he likes Elon, then he doesn't like Elon, then he likes Elon, then he doesn't like Elon. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't stay consistent. But Trump could have came to Twitter and did his own Twitter space. He could have had that girl from Fox News or Judge Janine interview him for a Twitter space. He didn't have to have Elon. See, Elon always liked Ron DeSantis. 1.4 million. The fuck? It sounds like they're saying that the Twitter space was so damn hot that it broke it down, some shit like that. What in the world? Okay, let's listen to this.
Because it looks like doing it from mine basically broke the Twitter system. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining. We're incredibly excited to announce that if you want to have Governor DeSantis on with us with this historic announcement, and then look forward to live Q&A from the audience. So, with that.
Yeah, I mean, so Governor DeSantis, are you there?
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. We gotta do something while we listening to them. And I don't have my games. I don't want to play. What should we do? Hold on a second. This is an hour. What? Hold on, guys. I can't just sit here and just do nothing. I gotta do something while they're talking. So, any suggestions? Any suggestions? Let me see. I drunk my tree juice, but making tree juice is nothing. Guys, we're talking about on the monitor. You can't load Minecraft. No, I gotta can I load Minecraft? Hold on, let me see. Let's see. Maybe I can. Let me see. Hold on a second. I'm gonna let this play as I see if I can load Minecraft. Hold on a second.
Can you hear us? I think you broke.
I'm here.
I know. I think you broke the internet there. We had over 500,000 people in one Twitter space, and it was growing by like 50,000 a minute. So
wow!
Congrats on breaking the internet there.
Well, yeah. Try some new things. You're gonna.
Yes.
It's adventurous. So
yes.
But I think the value here is actually really high for people to hear directly from presidential candidates and to answer a Q&A live, and you can get a sense for how a candidate really is, and where it's not just canned speeches and teleprompters. It's in fact, you can tell by the some of the mistakes that it's real. So with that, I
hope I don't crash anything.
Turn it over to
yeah. Well, let's see. So, yeah, Governor, there's been a lot of speculation over the last couple of months about your plans. I understand that you may have an announcement to make. We've got, I think, a record audience assembled here. Probably the biggest room that's probably ever been assembled online. What would you like to tell them?
Well, I am running for President of the United States to lead our great American comeback. Look, we know our country's going in the wrong direction. We see it with our eyes, and we feel it in our bones. Our southern borders collapse. Drugs are pouring into the country. Our cities are being hollowed out by spiking crime. The federal government's making it harder for the average family to make ends meet and to attain and maintain a middle-class lifestyle. And our president Well, he lacks vigor, flounders in the face of our nation's challenges, and he takes his cues from the woke mob. I don't think it has to be this way. American decline is not inevitable. It is a choice, and we should choose a new direction, a path that will lead to American revitalization.
Yes.
We must restore sanity to our nation.
Yes.
This means embracing fiscal and economic sanity. Stop pricing hardworking Americans out of a good standard of living through inflationary borrow, print, and spending policies, and please embrace American energy independence. This also means replacing the woke mind virus with reality, facts, and enduring principles. Merit must trump identity politics. We must return normalcy to our communities. America's a sovereign country. Our borders must be respected. We cannot have foreigners pouring into our country illegally by the millions. We cannot allow drug cartels to poison our population with fentanyl. Public deserves safe communities, and law and order must be maintained in American cities. We can't have inmates running the asylum, and we must reject attacks on the men and women of law enforcement. We also must reestablish integrity in our institutions. This includes the military. I'm proud to be a Navy veteran, an Iraq veteran, and I revere our services. But when revered institutions like those in our military are more concerned with matters not central to the mission, whether it's global warming or gender ideology and pronouns, morale declines and recruiting suffers. And you need to eliminate these distractions, and we need to get focused on the core mission. We also cannot have true constitutional government if the most significant issues are decided by the whims of unelected bureaucrats rather than the people's elected representatives. Reestablishing integrity in our institutions means we must reinvigorate our constitutional system by returning the government to its rightful owners, we the people. No social or economic transformation without representation. Truth needs to be our foundation. Common sense can no longer be an uncommon virtue. And in Florida, we proved it could be done. We chose facts over fear, education over indoctrination, law and order over rioting and disorder. We held the line when freedom hung in the balance. And we're thriving as a result. Florida is the nation's fastest growing state. We're number one in net in-migration, number one in new business formations, recently ranked number one in education. We have a 50-year low crime rate, one of the lowest tax and debt per capita in America. But we also understand governing is not entertainment. It's not about building a brand or virtue signaling. It is about delivering results. And our results in Florida have been second to none. We can and we must deliver big results for America. I pledge to be an energetic executive that will take on the important issues. Biden's pursued inflationary policies that are hurting working people. We will reverse those policies, and we'll build an economy where working Americans can achieve a good standard of living. Biden's opened the southern border and allowed massive amounts of drugs to pour into the country. We'll shut down the border, construct a border wall, and hold the drug cartels accountable.
Yes.
Biden's embraced medical authoritarianism, such as unconstitutional COVID vax mandates. We will ensure that those violations of liberty can never happen again. Biden's allowed woke ideology to drive his agenda. We will never surrender to the woke mob, and we will leave woke ideology in the dustbin of history. Biden's also politicized the military and caused recruiting to plummet. We will eliminate ideological agendas from our military, focus the military on the core mission, and we will reverse the poor recruiting trends. Finally, Biden's weaponized the power of the administrative state to advance his left-wing agenda. We will reconstitutionalize the executive branch, and we'll bring the administrative state to heel. Now, you can't do any of that if you don't win. There is no substitute for victory. We must end the culture of losing that has infected the Republican Party in recent years. The tired dogmas of the past are inadequate for a vibrant future. We must look forward, not backwards. We need the courage to lead, and we must have the strength to win. And to voters who are participating in this primary process, my pledge to you is this. If you nominate me, you can set your clock to January 20th, 2025 at high noon, because on the west side of the U.S. Capitol, I will be taking the oath of office as the 47th President of the United States. No excuses. I will get the job done. Now, these past few years have given me a new appreciation for the fragility of our freedoms. I never thought I would see things in America that we saw during the COVID-19 pandemic, but our founding fathers were keenly aware of the fragility of freedom. When they framed our Constitution, they came armed with having studied the history of every republic and the history of mankind. And they noticed that all of those experiments only had one thing in common, and it was this: every single one of them had failed. And so they knew it fell to our country, the United States of America, to determine whether people could really govern themselves. Could we have a society based on the idea that our rights are God-given, not government-granted, and that society functions based on the rule of law, not the rule of individual men? And when Dr. Benjamin Franklin walked out of that convention, he was asked, did you deliver a republic or a monarchy? He said, a republic if you can keep it. They knew freedom didn't run on autopilot. They knew each generation would have a responsibility to safeguard freedom, and it's our responsibility to do so at this important juncture in our nation's history. We have a lot of work to do to ensure the country gets back on track. I ask everybody listening to please join me on this mission. Please invest in our campaign by going to rondesantis.com and making a donation. Thank you. God bless, and I look forward to the discussion.
Yay!
All right, thank you, Governor. Appreciate that. I guess as a first follow-up here, thank you for putting up with these technical issues. I think we're definitely breaking new ground here. As far as I know, no major presidential candidate has ever announced their candidacy on social media this way. Certainly in a Twitter space. So, thank you for doing that. What made you want to kind of take the chance of doing it this way, as opposed to just doing it on cable news or the usual way?
Well, when COVID hit, I had to make decisions about, do you go with the crowd or do you look at the data yourself and cut against the grain? And I chose to do the latter. I faced huge blowback for doing that from the bureaucracy, from elites, from the media. But my view was I had to look out for the people I represented, prefer protecting their jobs over trying to safeguard my own political hide. But it was very, very lonely in a lot of those decisions. And part of the reason it was so lonely is because there was a concerted effort to try to stifle dissent. There was an official narrative about lockdowns, about closing schools, about forced masking, about all these different things that we had to navigate during COVID. And it was an orthodoxy being enforced by the major tech platforms in conjunction with the federal government. And if we can't have an honest debate in a free country about issues that affect hundreds of millions of people, like lockdowns, then what good is the First Amendment at that point? Those are precisely the times when we needed to have debate be robust. You should not be taking down articles that criticize those draconian policies, and yet that's exactly what happened. So it occurred to me that if that had continued, I think free speech in this country was on its way out the door. And so when Elon Musk stepped up to purchase Twitter, he paid a lot of money for it. And I'm sure because he's a good businessman, Elon, I'm sure you'll end up making money off it. But bottom line is you had to put your money where your mouth is, because I think you recognize that you can't have a free society unless we have the freedom to debate the most important issues that are affecting our civilization. That did not happen during COVID. The truth was censored repeatedly. And now that Twitter is in the hands of a free speech advocate, that would not be able to happen again on this Twitter platform. So I think what was done with Twitter is really significant for the future of our country. We cannot have a society in which government is colluding with major tech platforms to enforce an orthodoxy.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're absolutely committed to freedom of speech and a level playing field, and just a vigorous debate. And hopefully this can be a platform that brings people of divergent political views to exchange those views, and perhaps some minds will be changed one way or the other. And but it's just incredibly important, as you highlight, that the First Amendment is irrelevant if all the media and all the government are operating in lockstep. It makes the most important amendment, the one that was most urgently added to the Constitution, moot if you cannot have free and open debate. So So Twitter was indeed expensive, but free speech is priceless.
Awesome. Thank you. So, Governor, I'm going to ask some questions while we get some other kind of speakers in the queue to ask questions. I think maybe some people knew this announcement was coming because there's been no shortage of hit pieces on you in the press over the last week or two. I want to ask you about some of these accusations that are being leveled at you. Last week, the NAACP issued a travel advisory against your state, claiming that Florida is not a safe place for minorities to visit. What do you say to those who've been advised that somehow they aren't welcome in your state?
Claiming that Florida is unsafe is a total farce. I mean, are you kidding me? You look at cities around this country, they are awash in crime. In Florida, our crime rate is at a 50-year low.
Wow.
You look at the top 25 cities for crime in America, Florida does not have a single one amongst the top 25. And if you look at cities like Baltimore and Chicago, you got kids more likely to get shot than to receive a first-class education. Yet I don't see the NAACP batting an eye about all the outrage and the carnage that's happening in those areas. So this is a political stunt. These left-wing groups have been doing it for many, many years. And at the end of the day, what they're doing is colluding with legacy media to try to manufacture a narrative. Now, the good news is fewer and fewer Americans are gullible enough to believe this dribble. And platforms like Twitter are there where people can debunk these lies in real time. And I would just say, as an American citizen, if you are uncritically accepting narratives spun by legacy media and left-wing groups, you're failing at your job of being a conscientious citizen. And I think people just see right through it. And oh, by the way, have any of these travel advisories, because they've been doing this for a while, all these left-wing groups, have any of them worked? Well, we're the #1 state for net in-migration and have been every year since I've been governor. We just capped the highest quarter for tourism in the history of the state of Florida. And our view is we want everybody to succeed regardless of their skin color. We don't divvy up people by race. At the same time, it is worth pointing out that we have in Florida more Black-owned businesses than any state in the nation. And we've also had more African Americans lead state agencies under my administration than at any time in Florida history. But with us, you know they're there because of merit, not because we're trying to play identity politics. And if you want to look at education, the Black students in Florida perform much higher than Black students in most other states. We rank #3 in 4th grade reading and #2 in 4th grade math amongst our Black student population. And oh, by the way, the head of the NAACP lives in Florida, and a lot of their board members have put out on social media during my governorship Florida vacations where they seem to be having an awful good time.
Oh, put you on blast, dude.
That's great. Well, I mean, Florida's a great state, and I think the people realize that. Some of the things that are being said are just truly absurd. I mean, I saw some headline from The Atlantic basically claiming that anyone who listens to this Spaces on Twitter is basically a Nazi. That was The Atlantic,
and then Vanity Fair said that that you were hosted or interviewing because David Duke wasn't available.
Oh yes.
Although I'm not totally sure who they were saying was David Duke. I don't know if it was you or Governor DeSantis. It's sort of a little bit unclear, but
I think this is a function of the legacy media, these corporate journals, they're in their little bubble.
Oh, no, it's raining.
To draw allusions to stuff like that, I mean, how crazy do you have to be? But in their little bubble, it sounds like they're making some type of profound point. And so part of, I think, what Twitter is standing for is people should be exposed to different viewpoints. And I think the elites in our society have tried to cluster themselves to where their assumptions are never challenged. And that's not a good way, I think, to live. It's also not a good way to be a critical thinker, because no one's ever going to question obviously wrong assumptions because everybody around you shares them.
Absolutely.
And I think they become totally hysterical because they don't like the idea that their control over the media is being, disintermediated.
Yeah.
Because now, candidates for president can just speak directly to people through platforms like Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, the amazing thing about Twitter and things like Spaces are that Although I happen to be hosting I had to switch over to David hosting it because my account was actually
There's too much interest. But
my account was breaking the system. But there's really never been a mechanism before where someone could address the nation, or anyone who wanted to listen to them could, from anywhere in the world, the United States or anywhere. So I think this is a really profound change. And it's also like it's not just whether the media reports something and an article is true or not. Even more powerful is deciding what the narrative is. And
Totally.
so, it's just like, if there's only so much you can actually fit in a newspaper or a magazine, and there's only one thing you can really put on the cover of a magazine. So that whoever's deciding that is deciding to not talk about other things. Whereas with a public digital town square like we have here, it's possible for the public to choose the narrative. It empowers the people instead of a very tiny elite cabal, which I don't recognize the irony of me using that phrase. But nonetheless, it's true, and you can judge by the results that this is a means for people to decide the narrative, and for the people to decide which way a debate will go. Not sort of 5 editors-in-chiefs of a few newspapers, basically.
Yeah, and I think one of the really crazy things that happened during COVID is that social networks really started censoring dissenting viewpoints on COVID, medical viewpoints that ended up being totally correct in lockstep with what the mainstream media was doing. So basically, big tech platforms were undermining their main reason for existing, which is giving people a choice. And actually, there's somebody who I think knows more about that than any of us, which is Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, who's a professor of medicine at Stanford. I want to pull him in here. Jay, you go ahead and unmute yourself if you can. It'd be great to hear from you. I know that during COVID, you worked with Governor DeSantis. It'd be great just to hear a little bit about your interactions and if you have a question for the governor.
Yeah, thank you, David. Yeah, I mean, it was an absolute honor to work with Governor DeSantis, and I was really impressed by his decision making in the face of an absolute firestorm of criticism. But Governor, you did the right thing when you opened the schools. And my kids in California for a year and a half didn't see the inside of a classroom, whereas Florida kids were in school. And you can see it in the results, and the learning loss numbers are so much better in Florida. I'm really curious, Governor, as you're running for president, what are your thoughts about reforming, the public health authority in the United States and the federal government, the CDC, the FDA, the NIH? How do you see the reforms we need so that the mistakes of the lockdowns that happened during the pandemic don't happen again when there's another pandemic?
Well, first, we need an honest reckoning about what happened during COVID. And the only honest reckoning is that all of those agencies, all of the elites, the public health establishment, they failed. They instituted bad policies. Obviously, it's a novel virus, but I think what happened was when the data was becoming more and more apparent that the path they were on was wrong, they doubled down and wanted to do it even more. And I really believe had Florida not just kind of stood in the way, I think this country would have had rolling lockdowns for probably a 2-year period. And so their impulses were authoritarian. They were not following the data. And I think the U.S. government needs to acknowledge the failures. And I think all of those agencies need to be cleaned out. What I saw just dealing with them was I saw a interest in the narrative and in politics over evidence-based reasoning and evidence-based medicine. And so I don't have confidence that those agencies are up to the task. And I think you need major overhaul of the whole enchilada with respect to public health in this country.
Can I follow up with that? I mean, I think the other thing that I saw during the pandemic, Governor, and you was subject to it just as much as I was when we were talking about COVID. YouTube censored a video of us speaking about in a roundtable that you hosted on COVID policy. there's so much of the federal government infrastructure went into suppressing honest scientific discussion during the pandemic. So it's not just public health agencies, but other agencies inside the federal government that worked to suppress the speech of Americans. And I'd love to hear
No
your thoughts
question.
about it.
No question. So I'm actually in Florida. We recognize the danger there. So I'm actually going to be signing a digital bill of rights for Florida pretty soon, which will bar all state and local government officials from colluding or working with a technology company for the purpose of censorship of speech. Because you're exactly right. You had people in the White House, you had people in all these other agencies working with these platforms to try to take it down. And oh, by the way, what did they censor Dr. Bhattacharya for? It was a roundtable discussion that I led and convened. We had Dr. Bhattacharya, MD, PhD from Stanford. We had Martin Kaldorf from Harvard Medical School, and we had Sunetra Gupta from Oxford, who was generally viewed as one of the best epidemiologists across the pond until she became anti-lockdown. So these are all eminent people. And what are we discussing? We're discussing whether there's any scientific basis to force a school child to wear a mask for 8 hours a day. They all agreed there was no basis to do it and that you should not have school mask mandates. YouTube thought that that was, quote, anti-science and that should be taken down. But even at that point, we had already had enough experience in Florida where you had some schools that had done it before the state banned the mandates. You had some schools that had done it, some schools didn't, and the results were no different. And yet his video was taken down by Google, YouTube. So it's a huge, huge problem. And yes, I think the federal government, FBI, DHS, any of the health agencies, it's unconstitutional for them to be delegating speech restriction to a private company. You can't do indirectly what the Constitution would clearly forbid you to do directly.
Let me pull in. We have Congressman Thomas Massey. If you're there, go ahead and unmute yourself. I mean, what we're talking about here is, I think, really unconstitutional actions by federal agencies. Congressman Massey, I know that you've been involved in this problem of government agencies being weaponized and used against the American people in an inappropriate way. Do you have a comment on this? And do you have a question for Governor DeSantis?
Well, first of all, let me say a big thank you to Elon Musk for buying Twitter and exposing all of this. On our weaponization committee, we wouldn't know so much of it if he hadn't done this, almost as a public service to the First Amendment. It's a disturbing trend. Government, as the governor said, the government is colluding with big corporations. We found out this week from an FBI whistleblower that Bank of America voluntarily gave names of and information on anybody who bought a hot dog in Washington, D.C. from January 5th to January 7th, and then overlaid that with gun purchases that they had on record anywhere in the country for any period of time. And just, they say they voluntarily gave that to the FBI. So that's disturbing to me. By the way, I've never met Elon Musk, but I'm one of your biggest fans. I'm the first congressman to have a Tesla. I'm on Starlink, and I would have bought a Powerwall, but I'm off the grid, and you wouldn't sell me one, so I had to make one with a wrecked Model S.
He's not gonna fuck you.
It's been running our house for 5 years, but my
and just for the record, I was with Thomas our first year in Congress. He's got the Tesla, but his license plate is Kentucky Coal. So it's he's probably one of the only people that have that in the country.
Thanks for outing me, Governor DeSantis. But no, so Governor DeSantis, my question to you is, you served here in Congress for 6 years with me. And why is it that Congress is so feckless at reining in these government agencies? And what do you think we need to do? And if you were president, what would you urge Congress, or what bills would you like to see and sign to rein in this, sort of overreach of government bureaucracy?
Well, first, I think there's a lot that the executive branch can do, and all I will say when it comes to these agencies, we'll go into this a little bit more as the campaign goes on. But buckle up when I get in there, because the status quo is not acceptable. and we are going to make sure that we reconstitutionalize this government. And these agencies are totally out of control. There's no accountability, and we are going to bring that in a very big way. Now, part of the reason it's gotten so bad, power's been consolidated in effectively a fourth branch of government because Congress hasn't used its two main powers that it has under the Constitution. First, the power of the purse. If an agency is engaging in conduct that is outside the realm of what is legal, or you think it's not good for the public interest, then you can remove the funding for those operations. There's nothing that they're not entitled to get the same level of funding every year, and yet Congress runs the government on autopilot, either continuing resolutions or massive omnibus spending bills. So these agencies are all bulletproof. They know that they're going to end up getting something similar or more every single year, and it creates an incentive for them to abuse their power. The other thing you can do is actually legislate, so you're not delegating to the bureaucracy key issues regarding how to enforce federal law. You should define what you want. All they should be doing is implementing. Instead, Congress will basically give an invitation for the bureaucracy to make really important substantive decisions. And so Congress may never vote on something, and the bureaucracy will cite a law from 20 years ago and do things that are going to transform our society or our country. That is not the way the founding fathers drew up the Constitution.
So would you sign the REINS Act? We passed it out of Judiciary today.
Oh, yeah, no, of course. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. That would, I think, be a great check for that. I also think that we're going to have a good chance to see some of this Chevron deference really curtailed or maybe even eliminated based on the U.S. Supreme Court's upcoming jurisprudence. And I think that's another reason why the bureaucracy has become so powerful, because courts have basically been told they can pretty much do what they want. And
hold on, I gotta read a super chat. I'll pause for super chat. B Prep B says DeSantis is better than melatonin. Melatonin doesn't put everybody to sleep. Thank you very much. But we appreciate your hate. Oh my God, come on, play. It's not playing. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Hold on. It's got a glitch. Sorry, guys. There's a glitch.
And courts are supposed to just defer. I don't think that that's actually correct. I think the courts, they have to make a judgment about what does the law actually say, and you can't just defer to quote unquote experts in the bureaucracy.
Thank you.
All right, shifting gears, Governor, I want to ask you another topic that's been in the news a lot is Disney. They blamed you for canceling plans for $1 billion investment in Florida, said they were canceling 2,000 jobs. I saw other reports that suggested Disney was going to make the cuts anyway, and due to a larger, budget cutting initiative. Regardless of why they did it, why do you feel your fight with Disney remains important, considering you already beat them on the parental rights bill that they opposed? And what would you say to some of your opponents in this race who argue that the fight has dragged on too long?
So first of all, Florida stands for the protection of children. We believe jamming gender ideology in elementary school is wrong. Disney obviously supported injecting gender ideology in elementary school. They did oppose our parents' rights legislation. And the fact is, when they opposed it, that was a big deal because for 50 years, anytime Disney wanted something in Florida politics, they pretty much got it. But not this time. I signed the bill. We did, as you say, win on the issue. But what happened was Disney's posturing, some of the other statements that their executives were making, kind of the corporate culture had really been outed as trying to inject matters of sex into the programming for the youth. And I think a lot of parents, including me, look at that and say, that's not appropriate. I mean, we want our kids to be able to just be kids. And that's kind of our mantra. So you had this setup that Disney engineered many decades ago, where they actually had their own government that they controlled with no accountability. They were exempt from the laws that all their competitors had to follow, massive tax breaks, and they even racked up municipal debt. And Florida basically put them on a pedestal many decades ago and joined the state with this one company at the hip. We just didn't feel that we were comfortable maintaining that relationship. And so we ended their self-governing status. So Disney has to live under the same laws as everybody. They got to pay the same taxes as everybody. And obviously they'll be responsible for those debts. So the reason why there's a quote fight is just because they filed a lawsuit against the state of Florida, trying to get their special privileges reinstituted. But I don't think that that's good policy. And I think some of these Republicans that are taking Disney's side, they're basically showing themselves to be corporatists, because these are all corporate goodies. This is not the way you would run a competitive economy. And the arrangement had really outlived its usefulness, but it persisted because Disney was so politically powerful. I think the company's ethos have changed in a way that's alienated a lot of people in our legislature and in Florida. And so there was really no justification to keep it. But make no mistake, they're suing to try to get special privileges. People are making money in Florida hand over fist because we have a great business climate. That's not good enough for them. They want to be treated differently than Universal and SeaWorld, and we don't think that that's appropriate. So, I think that they should withdraw the lawsuit, but obviously we're going to defend our actions because we think we have the right to do what we did.
It's funny, the media used to criticize Republicans for being in the pocket of big corporations, and now they're attacking you because you're not.
Well, not only that, David, it's interesting because the media in Florida for years had hammered Disney, and they would point out like that this was not a good arrangement because Disney was not accountable to anyone. I mean, when the state control board took over this district, the firefighters came to the board and they said, hey, we weren't getting survivor benefits for some of these widows. And so the state control board actually paid out some of the benefits that they were getting stiffed on. There were a lot of people in Central Florida who were really thankful that there was some accountability being brought to bear because, it's human nature. If there's no accountability over any individual or entity, of course, they're going to behave differently than if you have normal accountability. But the media was always very hostile to that. But just because I happen to be involved in bringing it back to reality and making sure that they were under the same laws, well, then all of a sudden they're running to Disney's defense. I mean, are you kidding me? And oh, by the way, on this project,
defending
they
Disney.
had announced this many years ago. They had not done anything for it, but that is actually not in Reedy Creek. So that was in a different part of Orlando. And so none of the issues that are involved in their suit would have made a difference there. Obviously, as a publicly traded corporation, they have a fiduciary duty to do what's best for their shareholders. So I'm assuming if they were in better financial shape and they saw the project as lucrative, they would have gone forward with it. But I think clearly they've had some problems with their stock price and a lot of other issues. And I'd also just finally point out, nobody probably has made Disney more money than me because they were open during COVID and they were closed in California. And that went on for many, many months where literally I had all the theme parks in Florida opened in 2020. People are going, it's safe, they're having fun. And the California parks were closed. I think they were closed for over a year out in California. So we were, I think, a much better place to be doing business, certainly since I've been governor.
Great. Let me shift gears here to the topic of education. I want to pull Chris Rufo into the conversation. I know he worked with you on some initiatives. I think, one other thing that the mainstream media has, I think, bashed on is they've kind of started promoting this narrative that you want to ban books from school libraries. You refuse to teach kids about slavery or other unpleasant realities of American history, or pretend that gay people don't exist.
What?
Since many people, I think, in this room, we're now up to, over 271,000 people. So this is, I think, totally unprecedented in terms of the numbers of people we have participating. By the way, I think Twitter's working much better now. I think it crashed because when you multiply 500,000 people in a room by an account with over 100 million followers, which is Elon's account, I think that creates just a scalability level that was unprecedented. But with my meager followership, it seems to be working much better.
It's we have some scaling issues specifically related to my account. At one point in January, if I tweeted above a certain size, it would crash the servers. And then anyone else who was tweeting at the same time would lose their tweet as well.
So in any event, well, we're breaking new ground here.
We're scaling issues.
Yes, you're breaking new ground when there are bugs and scaling issues. But in any event, back to the question I was asking you, Governor DeSantis, about education. the media has been, saying you're trying to ban books, you refuse to teach kids about slavery, you want to
Fake
say
news
that gay people don't
media.
exist. What
Fake
is
news.
the truth of the matter for people who maybe have never heard from you before? And then I want to pull Chris Rufo in on this as well.
Yeah, so the whole book ban thing is a hoax. There's not been a single book banned in the state of Florida. You can go buy or use whatever book you want. What we have done is empowered parents with the ability to review the curriculum, to know what books are being used in school, and then to ensure that those books match state standards and are age and developmentally appropriate. So, for example, parents have flagged books in schools that, for example, teach middle school kids how to use sex apps, that provide graphic depictions of sex acts and sex toys for people as young as 5th grade. And so clearly that is not appropriate to be in a middle school classroom. And so parents object and the schools take them out. I did a press conference that we called Exposing the Book Ban Hoax. And before I had the parents come up, before I spoke, I just played the video that had the images of the books that the parents had objected being in their kids' classroom. And the local news had to cut the feed because they said it was too graphic.
No.
Well, if it's too graphic for the 6 o'clock news, how is it okay for a 6th grader or a 5th grader? And so nothing's being banned. They're basically ensuring that we make curation choices that are consistent with state standards. And on the racial history, we eliminated critical race theory from our K through 12 schools. That was the right thing to do.
Yep.
In other words, we're not going to take a kid who comes in at 6 years old and say they're an oppressor or oppressed based on what their race is. That's divisive. That's wrong. We're also not going to be teaching people to hate their country. But what we are going to do is teach the accurate history. So in the same bill that banned critical race theory, we required teaching thoroughly about racial discrimination that occurred in American history. And Florida's history standards require all of those subjects from slavery, Reconstruction, segregation, all of that to be taught, and will continue to do that. So I think what you see is the left and the media colluding on this. They don't want to actually defend what it is that we are actually legislating or regulating. So they create these hoaxes that somehow you don't want kids to learn that slavery existed in America, which is preposterous. No one actually defends the offending material.
Tell the truth about slavery. Only
why are there people
1.7% of the population
trying
owned
to
them.
get this stuff into the classroom? And I think it's part of a political agenda. So our mantra in Florida is the purpose of the schools is education, not indoctrination. Yes, I think it's very inappropriate to have sexually explicit material in a 5th grade library, 100%. But it's also the case that if you're focusing on that type of instruction, there's an opportunity cost involved. Why shouldn't we be doing more on science or reading or math? And so I think we're getting it right. And I think almost invariably, and Chris Rufo's had to deal with this too, when they're trying to craft these narratives, if you just peel back the onion, you realize that this is something they're manufacturing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I was actually under the impression that there were some books banned, so this is news to me.
And they actually,
you don't know a lot of stuff.
This week was that Miami-Dade County took a book that was about like poems from I think like Biden's inauguration, and they moved it from elementary school library to middle school library. The media tried to act like somehow this is being banned, and you actually had Miami-Dade County Public Schools spokesperson have to come out and say there's nothing that's been banned or removed. It was basically just determined that this particular book was better suited for middle school. And so they put it in the middle school media center, and the media tries to act like somehow that is offending something with a book ban. So, but I think part of the reason that they're doing that is because, there is actually a movement to ban books from like Amazon and some of these others. California, some municipalities have banned things like To Kill a Mockingbird. What they're trying to do is see if some of these books pass a woke test. And if they don't, they are going against some of those books. Whereas in Florida, you can buy whatever book you want. But that's a different question than what would be appropriate for a 3rd grader or what would be appropriate for a 6th grader. Government, by definition, has to make those choices about what type of curriculum we want to put in front of our students. And the parents obviously have an important voice in that.
Absolutely. Well, in fact, a friend of mine, Tim Urban, who has a blog called Wait But Wine, is really one of the most reasonable people on earth and one of the most reasoned people I've ever met. Had a lot of trouble actually publishing his book, simply because it debated sort of sacred cows of woke ideology. But an incredibly reasonable book. So that is the kind of de facto book banning and de facto book suppression that I see quite a lot of, is that the publishers are unwilling to take risks.
Let me shift gears here for a second, because I know we're running out of time. We're supposed to end, I think, around 4 Pacific. But thank you for giving us a little bit extra time here, Governor. Shifting gears to a major federal issue, immigration. We see I've seen these videos on social media and on TV of what looks like just insanity at the border. What is your take on what's going on there, and how would you address that as president?
Deport.
Well, I'd reverse what Biden's doing. You need to shut the border down. You should not be entertaining these asylum claims for people crossing illegally. You know, asylum is a legitimate thing, but these are people that when they come, I mean, they're being persecuted. These people coming overwhelmingly are economic migrants that are coming across many other different countries. They should be applying for asylum there if they were, truly qualifying for that, but they're not. They know that if they just show up at the southern border, and these are people all over the world that are coming illegally, they know that they will get a sheet of paper saying, okay, come back for a court date in 3 years, and they get released to the interior of our country. It's an absolutely insane system. So we'll stop that. We will move on day one by declaring a national emergency. We will construct a border wall. We will make sure we have Remain in Mexico and that we're not entertaining those claims in that way. And we really need to hold the Mexican drug cartels accountable, because they're facilitating a lot of this migration. They obviously make money off of it. They treat a lot of these people very horribly as they're trafficking them through Mexico and into the United States. And of course, the cartels have been responsible for moving massive amounts of fentanyl into this country. And that's killing tens of thousands of Americans every year now. And what they're doing is they lace the other types of drugs with the fentanyl. So you may have like a teenage kid doing something they probably shouldn't do, but in prior generations would not have been fatal. And now if it's laced with fentanyl, these kids can overdose and die. And so mothers are losing kids as a result of this fentanyl epidemic. And I just don't think you could allow these criminal organizations to continue poisoning our population. So it'll be a day one issue. We will bring overwhelming amount of resources to deal with it, and we are going to stop this insanity once and for all.
There's a, I think, follow-up question on immigration from Steve Dace, who is a national radio personality and I think an important commentator in the great state of Iowa. Steve, do you have a comment or question? I think you just need to unmute.
I like watching that. Unmute.
If Steve can unmute, then we'll go ahead and ask him for a question. If not, we'll keep rolling here. All right, 3, 2, going.
I'm there,
all right,
guys.
sorry, Steve.
I'm there, guys.
Oh,
Sorry.
there you
He
go.
is.
All right.
Dummy.
My bad. First of all, I want to echo what Congressman Massey said to Elon. Elon, if I put down money on January 1st, 2022, that Twitter was going to be the last bastion of free speech on earth, brother, I'd be about as rich as you are on that bet right now. I mean, it's incredible what you have done here, and the restoration of a lot of accounts of people that were truth tellers and were ran from here for telling the truth. I saw a meme the other day that said, of course you have scientific consensus when you censor all the scientists who disagree. So I wanted to just say, first and foremost, on behalf of a lot of grateful people around the country and the world, really, thank you very much for that and the investment you made in that cause. Thank you. A question is a follow-up to you, Governor, on this very issue with immigration. We have heard a lot over the years. Lock her up, drain the swamp, going to build a beautiful wall. Mexico's going to pay for it, and crowds cheered, and everybody loved it, and brands got built, and nothing got done. What is the bottom line assurance that you can make to the people that are listening right now all over the world and all over the country that you can actually do the agenda that you just articulated when others tweeted about it and talked about it, but then couldn't actually follow through?
Shots fired at Trump.
It's a great question because I share that frustration. I think even my worst critics in Florida will acknowledge when I tell people I'm going to do something, I don't make promises or say I'm going to do something lightly. I've thought it through, and I know that I am going to follow through on what I tell people I'm going to do. So this is one. There will be follow through. Number two, I understand the different leverage points that you would have under Article 2 of the Constitution. I studied that a lot at becoming governor about Florida's Constitution, doing the same thing for the federal Constitution. And you've got to know how to use your leverage to advance what you're trying to accomplish. So, for example, there's leverage that we can use vis-a-vis Mexico that I think presidents have not been willing to do. I think sometimes for political purposes. But I'll look at, okay, what are all the variety of options we can do? Which buttons can I push? And I will do that to be able to bring this issue to a conclusion once and for all. We had Hurricane Ian come through Southwest Florida, Category 4+ storm, September of 2022. And it did a lot of damage, but one of the things it did, it knocked out a bridge going from the mainland to Pine Island, and it severed the Sanibel Causeway in 3 different locations. And the locals were being told it's going to take 6 months to get that stuff repaired. And so they came to me, even though these were not state-owned bridges, and they said, can you help us? And I said, okay, I'll do it. So I got my guys together. I said, listen, no bureaucracy, no red tape, and no excuses. Get it done. We need to open these bridges back. Pine Island Bridge reopened 3 days later. Sanibel Causeway opened 2 weeks after that, way ahead of schedule, because we wouldn't take no for an answer, and we wanted to make sure we got it done. So for me, it is not a campaign slogan that you get in and then forget about it. As an American citizen, if I wasn't running, this would be an issue that bothers me. I've put a lot of my capital as Florida governor involved in combating illegal immigration. We banned sanctuary cities my first year. We just did a strong anti-illegal immigration bill in Florida that's working. I put marine assets in the Florida Keys to help the Coast Guard repel boats from places like Haiti. I have people at the southern border right now helping Texas, and we've even been able to relocate illegal aliens to places like Martha's Vineyard. So I don't think any governor has probably gone out of his way to do more to try to make an impact on this issue. And I'm not going to take no for an answer. And I think our voters are sick of the empty promises. They want to see action.
Thank you, Governor.
Well, Governor, I saw the cover of Time Magazine this week. And I think they were trying to do a negative story because they had you were sort of scowling in this portrait they made of you, and in the article they call you they compared you to the Terminator, and I think they meant insult, but I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it was a good thing.
Yeah, how is that?
I think we need a cool-headed, ruthless assassin to go in and basically take on the woke mob, take on our out-of-control government, and take on problems like the ones at the border. So, again, I thought it made you sound great, even though that may not have been their intention.
Well, look, at the end of the day, this whole business that we're in is about producing results. I don't care about fanfare. I'm the governor, I'm known, right? And I go around the state and everything, and people are very nice. And so, I appreciate the well wishes, but I don't need any of the fanfare. I don't need any adulation. I just know I'm in a position where I have a chance to make a difference, and I'm either doing it or I'm not. And I remember sitting at the desk in the state capitol my first day as governor 4.5 years ago. I looked around the room and I thought to myself, I don't know what SOB is going to succeed me in this chair, but they are not going to have anything to do because I'm getting all the meat off the bone. I am going to make sure that I'm leaning into issues and making an impact. And we have done that in the state of Florida, and I bring that exact attitude up to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Governor, I'd love to jump in and follow up on that. This is Chris Rufo, and I've had the honor of working with you in the past few years on critical race theory, gender ideology, and the DEI bureaucracy. And what I've seen up close and personal is that while many conservative politicians going back decades have made headlines and got on television playing culture war, they never actually get anything done. And what you've done over the last few years is really astonishing. You've eliminated CRT from all Florida's public institutions. You've stopped gender ideology dead in its tracks in K through 12. And just last week, you eliminated the DEI bureaucracy in all of Florida's public universities. They'll be shut down completely. And I think what you've done is established a blueprint for fighting back against the left's long march of the institutions and making sure that those institutions reflect the value of Florida voters, not left-wing activists and the partisan press. So my question for you is, DC is another animal. It's quite different, the scale of the federal government. And how are you going to deliver results? And what is your culture war strategy facing down the swamp in DC?
Well, some of it is similar in this respect. When we're taking on things like DEI, you get blowback from legacy media and the far left. But that's an example of an issue where they are out of step with the vast majority of Americans. It's not just Republicans, it's independents and a lot of Democrats. Because you think about if you're a parent and you've got kids, you want to know when they apply to college, they're going to be judged based on their merit, and they're not going to be roadkill in some type of woke Olympics where they didn't fit some category and so they're denied opportunity. They want to make sure that achievement matters. And so we get a lot of quiet support for a lot of those things. And so I think what I do, just because, look, I'm a blue collar kid. I grew up in the Tampa Bay area, working minimum wage to get through school. My grandfather worked in the steel mill in Western Pennsylvania. I just know instinctively kind of what like normal people think about all this stuff. And I have a good sense of when the legacy media and the left are outside of where the average American is, because people want you to be using common sense. And things like DEI, I mean, when I was growing up, I think things were better because people were actually told you should try to get along. Now they're told you need to segregate. And it's just crazy that they're trying to do all this stuff. So by eliminating that, there's a lot of people that were really happy about that, including people that certainly are not traditional Republicans. And I think there's similar issues when you do in the federal level. It's also the case that there are some tools at the federal level that we don't necessarily have at the state level. For example, some of the problems with the university and the ideological capture, that didn't happen by accident, can trace back all the way to the accreditation cartels. Well, guess what? To become an accreditor, how do you do that? You've got to get approved by the U.S. Department of Education. So we're going to be doing alternative accreditation regimes where instead of saying you will only get accredited if you do DEI, you'll have an accreditor that will say, we will not accredit you if you do DEI. We want a colorblind, merit-based accreditation scheme. And so as president, controlling that agency, you can then approve other types of accreditation. So I think part of it is just knowing where are all the pressure points? How does it get to the point that we then see and that somebody like you will run a report on? Like when you see some of the outrageous stuff that's generated in some sociology department at a university, that didn't just happen out of thin air. There's a reason why we got to that point. And I think that there are some tools with the federal government where you can push back and try to get these institutions moored in a more foundational direction about, hey, we're pursuing truth here. And we're not here to try to impose one niche ideology on the entire student body.
Great. Shifting gears, Dana Lash, you have a question or comment for the governor?
I do. And thank you both so much for your time, for joining us in a very new way. I really appreciate that. I think it's really cool. And for your support of free speech, too. And Elon, I have to say thank you for taking the arrows and for unthrottling the accounts of all of us who got in trouble for sharing in your post
thank you,
story
Elon.
And Governor, I wanted to thank you for your leadership and
I'm so happy to be back on Twitter.
Unwavering support of Second Amendment rights. And you're on my program tomorrow, and I just got to say, you got my vote in the primary, so I appreciate it very much.
Mine too.
You were talking about DEI just a minute ago, and I want to ask you both about this growing threat against natural rights and free enterprise. It's this threat of debanking. Now, I know that, Elon, I've read so much about you and what you've gone through. You've called ESG criteria evil incarnate. Governor DeSantis, Florida, saw financially weaponized wokery earlier this year when Wells Fargo Bank dumped both the business and personal accounts of a very prominent and well-respected gun dealer in Florida. They'd been together for 25 years working with Wells Fargo, and they cited new ESG guidelines. Now, similar to the DOJ's previous Operation Choke Point, all these activists for various causes are using this regulatory guidance to debank what they consider to be politically incorrect businesses for the sake of risk management. Now, we say that our rights should not be infringed upon by the government, but what can and should be done about activist-guided financial institutions and these payment processors who are essentially cutting off law-abiding citizens and businesses?
Well, I think it's a fundamental issue that I think not enough conservatives have been wise to. I think more and more are. But at the end of the day, we have certain fundamental rights. And so maybe you're somebody that is, really excited about your Second Amendment rights. And obviously, if the government comes in and infringes that, we know you blow the whistle on that. That's a problem. But what if Wall Street banks are colluding so that somebody can't function in that space, whether it's running a store or anything involving that? Your rights are still being infringed upon in that situation. And so I think this whole ESG movement is really trying to do through the financial sector what they could never achieve through the ballot box. And so they're trying to do an end run around the constitutional system, and they're really trying to change policy. They're trying to change society, and they're trying to change the scope of people's rights. And so in Florida, I just signed anti-ESG legislation, which said things like no ESG criteria in our pension fund. We got a $180 billion state pension fund. No social credit scores for consumers when they're going to bank. In other words, if you apply for a loan, that loan should be judged based on your credit worthiness, not whether you're genuflecting to the appropriate left-wing causes.
Yes.
But one thing we did do is we did provide protection against this debanking with the woke banking. No discrimination based on your religion and other things, which we know is happening. So I think it's a fundamental question, but we will not be a free society if major financial institutions can do through the economy what people could not achieve through the ballot box. Our rights will be restricted, will be the end result, and that's not healthy for a free country.
As a follow-up to that, Governor, Dana mentioned Operation Choke Point, and that is a term that's very familiar to crypto companies in Silicon Valley and fintech companies. Basically, it refers to an effort by the federal government, including the SEC, to basically regulate blockchain and crypto companies out of existence. They really feel like they're being driven out of the country. And I'm not talking about scammy ones or the totally fake ones like FTX, but really high quality, good companies, including companies that are public like Coinbase. And these guys are basically begging the government for just a framework. They're just like, tell us how to operate legally and we'll do it. I guess where do you come down on this? What is your view, I guess, broadly of Bitcoin and people's right to hold Bitcoin and to transact Bitcoin?
And Dogecoin.
You have every right to do Bitcoin.
Did you hear that?
The only
And
reason
Dogecoin.
these
And
people in
Dogecoin.
Washington don't like it is because they don't control it. And they're central planners, and they want to have control over society. And so Bitcoin represents a threat to them. And so, as you're saying, they're trying to regulate it out of existence. Look, could Congress enact a statute to ban things like Bitcoin under the Constitution? They may be able to do. I would oppose that. I think people should be able to do Bitcoin. But Congress has never addressed this in this fashion. And for the bureaucracy to just do it on their own and make it so people can't operate in that space, that's what we mean when we say we've got to return the government to the people, as elected representatives, who are our voice to be able to make these decisions. And so as president, we'll protect the ability to do things like Bitcoin. I think these are people that are sophisticated. They can make decisions. There's risks involved with it, but let them do that. I just do not have an itch to have to control everything that people may be doing in this space. And I think that the current regime, clearly, they have it out for Bitcoin. And if it continues for another 4 years, they'll probably end up killing it.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think that is the strong feeling of people in Silicon Valley who are in this space, and I think we'll be heartened to hear your answer on that. I mean, the weird thing is that, and there is a huge constituency of crypto Twitter. So for people who are maybe part of political Twitter who are wondering why we're talking about this, it really has a big audience for this topic.
Dogecoin too, I just want to emphasize. Is a big deal.
Yeah,
We get it.
Bitcoin and
Elon.
Dogecoin. So shout out to all the Doge fans out there. Yeah. But the weird thing is that this administration, they seem to want to ban Bitcoin, but they want to create a CBDC, which stands for a central bank digital currency. What's your take on that?
So we were the first state just last month. We actually got the Florida legislature to pass a law that says Florida does not recognize a central bank digital currency, because some states were actually adding that to their uniform commercial code. The federal government's studying this. We did the opposite and say we didn't. Now, the reason why we did that is because what the Federal Reserve has said is, we're going to consult with Congress. We'll consult with the executive branch. We don't have a CBDC right now. And ideally, we would get authorization for Congress. Well, wait a minute. It's not ideally. You must get authorization from Congress. I don't think Congress would authorize it. So if they unilaterally try to do this, we're trying to provide protection for people here in Florida. I know Biden did the executive order. They're studying it. I can tell you, if I'm president, we are not doing a central bank digital currency. I think that would be a huge, huge imposition on people's financial freedoms and financial privacy. And oh, by the way, what would the logical result of this be? If the central authority has oversight over this, of course they're going to start imposing ESG criteria. Oh, wait a minute. You filled up your gas tank 3 times this week. You can't do any more. The sky of how they would be able to manipulate this. So I see it as a massive transfer of power from individual consumers to a central authority. And I don't think that's good for a free society. So I'm a no on central bank digital currency.
Oh.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, Governor, I want to thank you for the time. We could go for hours here, but I know you only had an hour and we've gone over that. So I want to be respectful of your time. I know there's so many people who want to ask questions, and
we should do it again. I mean, I think it was fun. I think this is great. And we'll make sure that that we come back and do it again. This is a great platform. I mean, I would like to see other platforms going in the same direction, but a healthy democratic society needs the robust debate. So I just want to thank everybody for listening in, and I'll just make that pitch again. We want you on the team. We'd love for you to go to rondesantis.com and make a donation so that we can get this done on this nomination and win the election in November of 2024. God bless everybody, and thank you.
Well, thanks, Governor. And yeah, we have over 300,000 people in the room. It's really been pretty incredible. And, we started with some technical issues because of the sheer scale and unprecedented nature of what we were doing. But it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I think this finished really strong. So,
yeah, I think it's just really great for the people to hear directly from presidential candidates and to have it in a conversational tone. Which obviously results in, it's going to be imperfect because it's not scripted. So, but it's genuine.
Another one
and I think that really gives the people an opportunity to understand who might be their president in a way that's real. So thank you very much for coming out and doing this.
And the invitation's open to any other candidates who might want to do this.
Absolutely. It is important for people to hear directly from candidates. So thank you for working with us on this historic event, and looking forward to future conversations and just having a great national dialogue.
All righty, everybody. Thank you for just.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I think that's it. Okay, hold on a second. Let me. Wow, that was interesting. Let me log out of Minecraft. Save and quit. Saving world. Okay, so what did you guys think? That was for an hour and something. Uh-oh.
All right, I think we're broadcasting.
It just rewind. Let me close it. Oh, so that's what it does now? Well. So, yeah. More Minecraft. And I only played Minecraft because listen, I only played Minecraft because it's a Twitter space. And what was I gonna sit here and just go doo. Like, it's gonna be boring just sitting here and just watching me. Did Trump lose his shit on Truth Social? I'm sure he did. Hold on, let's see. I'm sure Truth did. I'm sure he did. Let's see. I'm sure he is triggered. Let's see. Let's look at Trump 24. Maybe they're gonna show something he said on here. Okay, here we go. I like to personally congratulate Rob DeSanctimonious on finally announcing that he would be entering the race for President of the United States. Hopefully he will get the full experience of being attacked by the Marxist communists and the radical left lunatics of our country, without which he will never know the kind of job he is doing. Those lowlifes and misfits are far worse than the leaders of hostile foreign countries. They must be soundly defeated in order to make America great again. So, yeah, Trump's taking this very well. Trump's handling it as best as he possibly can. So there's that. Okay. So, oh yeah, absolutely, Grace. Yeah, Trump's funny. I'm never going to take that away from him. He's funny. He is funny. Okay, so this video stays up because guess what? No titties. We didn't get any boobies showing. So that means that I get to keep the video up like the last times. Had to take the video down because somebody showed the boobies. So there's that. But I am going to go onto my non-political channel and talk crap about Pearly Things. We're going to go and clown on her because this was by, actually a paid. Someone paid to do that. Someone's like, here's a donation. Can you talk about Pearly Things? I really hate her. And you know I could be brought, right? Okay. Yay, me. So, anyway. Okay, guys. Today's Wednesday. So, tomorrow will be the Treehouse News. So, come on over tomorrow at 8 o'clock p.m. for the Treehouse News. And that's when we're going to go over all of the news, including the responses from more DeSantis, more Trump. We're going to be listening to everybody, but we also are going to maybe do I think we'll play a dedication. I know somebody made a dedication video to the Queen of Rock and Roll, Tina Turner. So we probably will watch that too. So anyway, tomorrow here at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, be sure to click the bell so you can be notified. And everybody else, I'll be heading over. Give me about, what time is it? Yeah, give me about, probably I'll be setting up over there and probably start at 11:30-ish. So with that being said, you guys can watch this after I log off. I'm not going to delete it. So be sure to see you here tomorrow. And everybody else who want to come over to my non-political channel, I'll be there in about 15 minutes. Later, taters. Bye.